About a month before the 2021 season kicked off, the Blue Jays made their first post-lockout deal, signing Yusei Kikuchi for 3 years, $36 million. The left-hander was coming off a season in which he was an all-star for the Mariners and was a force in the early part of the season, but eventually fell off the rails with a disastrous second half. Let's take a look at his 2021 splits. Up until the All-Star game, Kikuchi was rolling with a 6-4 record, a 3.48 ERA, and 9 strikeouts per 9 in 98 2/3 innings, which are great numbers. So I'm not surprised the Jays took the gamble with him as our number 5 starter last season because of the all-star upside. But instead, the Jays got the second half version of Kikuchi, where he posted a 1-5 record, a 6 ERA, 5.9 walks per 9, and 11.1 hits per 9 in 58 2/3 innings. He also raised his season ERA from 3.48 all the way up to 4.41. And last season, it seemed as though anything that could have gone wrong went wrong for Kikuchi. He had a 5.19 ERA, allowed the most walks per 9 in his career, had a 1.5 whip, and only 2.14 strikeouts per walk, among other miserable stats. And by the end of the season, he was relegated to bullpen duty. But he was actually able to find some success there. Highlighted by a 3-inning save against the Red Sox, Kikuchi pitched to a 4.41 ERA, a 2-0 record, and an incredible 16.3 strikeouts per 9 in 18 1/3 innings. The 4.41 ERA still isn't great, but the strikeout figure is truly astonishing, especially since the Jays didn't have too many guys in the bullpen with high Ks per 9, and the early reports from spring training are positive revolving Kikuchi. John Schneider even stated that he loved what he's seen from him so far. Moving on to option number 2, Mitch White. White was a mid-season acquisition by the Jays last year from the Los Angeles Dodgers, and honestly quickly became one of the least liked players on the team by most fans. And you can't really blame them. The Jays were dealing with a pitching depth issue and were fighting for a chance to compete in the playoffs. So to most, it was strange to bring in White rather than a bigger name player. And when he started to pitch for the Jays, it only got worse. In his short spell with the club, he pitched to an 0-5 record, a 7.74 ERA, an abysmal 1.744 whip, and a negative 1.2 WAR in only 43 innings pitched. But I don't want to completely bash the guy. There is reason the Jays picked him up. One of the reasons why is because he had a great start to his career with the Dodgers. In 105 2/3 innings pitched, he had a 3.58 ERA in 38 games, 14 of them started, and a 1.202 whip. This stat line paired with his club control till 2028 is more than reason why the Jays decided to pick him up. Another thing I would like to note about White is his 3.76 FIP he had with the Jays. For those who don't know, FIP only factors in the events the pitcher can control over: strikeouts, hit batters, home runs, and unintentional walks. It removes the results of balls hit into play. So basically, it's a stat to see just how much a defense can hurt a pitcher's performance. So in this case, White's FIP is about 4 less than his ERA, meaning the Jays' defense really didn't help him out. With this improved defense, would it be safe to assume White can produce an ERA at least somewhat closer to his FIP? After all, his expected ERA last year was only 4.14. Early reports from spring training state that White had a shoulder impingement when he started throwing in January, and he has not yet begun ramping up his workload. So is the fight for the 5th starter spot really over already? Going forward, White has 0 MLB options left, and barring injury, will be on the opening day roster. Kikuchi is an X factor, and after witnessing what he did in his first spring training game, it may be safe to say the job is in his hands. So who will it be, Kikuchi or White for the last starting spot? I'd love to hear your opinions in the comment section down below. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe. Only a small percentage of people watching are actually subscribed, and it helps me out a lot. Plus, you're definitely going to want to be kept in the loop with baseball season fast approaching. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.